Hello! In this video, we are going to describe a person in a fantastic story, right? To begin, match each of the following words with its definition. Here you have 5 words. Look at them, read the definitions, and see which one corresponds to which definition, all right? Take a moment, pause my video, complete the activity, and I'll see you in a moment. All right? Thank you. Thank you very much for having completed the activity. And here are the answers. What's someone who is bitter? It's a person that is hard to bear, never happy. What's fate? Something that unavoidably happens, or destiny. What is generous? Someone who is liberally giving, not selfish. What is kind is good and benevolent. What's lonely? Having no company, having a lack of company. All right, with that vocabulary, let's read the following story. You may know it already. It reads like this. Mr. Scrooge was a bitter and lonely man who hated Christmas. All right, one Christmas Eve, the night before Christmas, that would be the night of December 24th, he received a warning that if he continued living like that, a horrible fate awaited him. All right? A horrible fate, a terrible destiny. However, Scrooge was not afraid. That night, 3 Christmas spirits appeared. The spirit of the past, all right, who reminded Scrooge of his childhood. All right, the spirit of the present who showed him his present situation in his job. So everything that people were doing behind his back, mostly what was happening in his life at that moment. That was the spirit of the present. And the spirit of the future who showed him his destiny in the grave, means in the place where dead people are placed when he died. All right. Seeing all that, Scrooge was horrified and he begged to live. He finally woke up to be a kind and generous man from then on. So he changed, celebrating Christmas and living a happy life. That is a good, happy ending. Good. Let me ask you these questions to make sure that you understood the basic concepts in this story. When do the spirits visit Scrooge? That was the night of Christmas Eve. Okay. What was Scrooge's destiny? He was going to die, right? Probably very alone and miserable. What did Scrooge do when he woke up? He became a generous person and he lived a happy life and celebrated Christmas. Good. All right. This is a character in a story, the Christmas Carol. That's the name of the story. And the author may have different ways of describing a person. All right. We have no description of the character there, but when you write a story or when you read a story, you may see that there are many ways in which a character can be described. We don't necessarily have to focus on the physical appearance. No, that is not the only thing that we can do, but there are many other ways of describing that physical appearance. And that is actually one of the tips that I have for you today about describing a person or a character in a story. All right, the first one is precisely that. Don't be limited to only physical attributes. Of course, the physical attributes are accurate, yes, and they give you a good idea about the person, but the personality traits are, they give more information about the person, all right? So don't be limited. It means that do that, yes, but also talk about their personality. Don't use so many adjectives compared to something completely different. Instead of saying, her eyes were brown, say her eyes were the color of the earth, for example. For blue eyes, you know that you always say the color of the ocean, of the sea, or of a beautiful sky, things like that. All right? Make details more specific. What does that mean? We can give details. For example, the person had short hair, yes, but give more details. For example, his hair was short. He had a crew cut or a military buzz cut, and it was prickly to the touch. For example, when you touched his hair, it was prickly. That would be giving more details, right? Focus on strong and meaningful physical details. Instead of saying that the person was shy and introvert, say that the person was a slouching person and he or she had face on her hair because it was covering his or her hair partially, for example. Instead of saying that he was a confident man, say that he walked with his shoulders back and with radiating confidence, for example. All right? The next one. The setting may shape personality. Instead of saying just things about the person, you can describe where he worked, where he lived, and that would tell something about the person. So the surroundings would give more characteristics to the person. Go beyond the character's present reality. Don't talk about what the person is doing now. Talk about what he or she has done, talk about what he will be doing, because when we talk about the past, we understand the present, and that in some way foreshadows the future. All right? So talk about present, past, and future of the person. Use distinctive objects to define the lifestyle of the character. Instead of saying that he was a student, say that he always carried his notes with him, his books, or that he had good grades. He was showing his report. He was proud showing his report card to his parents, for example, to show that he was a good student. You can use indirect descriptions. For example, instead of saying that he was a very organized person, say that he always carried a grocery list, for example. Or instead of saying that he was a rich man, say that he was always happy to see his bank statement balances, for example. All right? Set your characters in motion. Instead of just describing the person, you can describe the people and what they were doing. Instead of saying that he lived with his family, you would say that he would always see his father reading the newspaper in the front porch, or his mother watching a movie, or his young brother, a loud teenager playing video games in the back, for example. That describes the person and also the kind of family he lives in. And finally, include verbs. Instead of saying that she was an old woman, instead of saying that she was an old woman, you could say that she slowly became more gentle and unrushed as life swiftly passed by, and her height shortened with the years, or dwindled away. Something that with verbs, you're describing what the person is like. All right? As you can see, you have more than just physical descriptions and physical characteristics to describe your character and to help people understand what the person was like. All right? Now, using all those characteristics of some more, let's say, richer descriptions of characters, I have an activity for you. This is a picture of Mr. Scrooge. Describe him using what you have learned in this lesson. So look at him, look at his facial expressions, yes, but say more than just saying that he was old and ugly or whatever you want to say. So see his posture, the way he looks at people, and talk about his physical descriptions, but compare them with something else in the setting, in the environment. You want to describe color in a more creative way. Anything that you can do except just saying that he was old and wrinkled. All right? So think about the activity for a moment, look at the picture, and see how you can describe him more richly. Okay? Pause my video, complete the activity, and I'll see you in a moment. All right? Thank you for completing the activity. I really hope that you tried to describe him I am going to show you something that a boy wrote, and we're going to see how richer this description can be. All right, let's look at his answer. He said, Mr. Scrooge was an old, unhappy man. All right, that is the topic sentence, remember? That is what describes the idea of the whole paragraph. Okay, that is a good summary. His face reflected the disgust he felt for life. Wow, nice, I like those verbs used there. And he slouched as if trying to be in two places. Wow, because his body is in the back and his face is forward in two places. In the front, his long, white, and unkempt hair tried to escape from a nightcap that already seemed to be part of his head. Wow, this is very, very nice. So the hair trying to escape from that nightcap. Wow, this is really, I like it very much. His nose and lips pointed downward. So the nose was pointing downward and his lips as well. Yes. By the same, pulled by the same strings that kept his humanity bound to this world. Wow. Powerful. Well, I like it very much, and I hope that you could enrich your own description with this one. Thank you very much for having tried that. Now, I would like for you to practice the pronunciation of this answer, all right? I am going to pause my video so that you can pronounce after the speaker, all right? Listen and practice, please.
Mr. Scrooge was an old, unhappy man. His face reflected the disgust he felt for life, and he slouched as if he was trying to be in two places. His long, white, and unkempt hair tried to escape from a nightcap that already seemed to be a part of his head. His nose and lips pointed downward, pulled by the same strings that kept his humanity bound to this world.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. And remember that there are always more than one way. I have about 10 tips for you to enrich your character descriptions in this lesson. So thank you very much for your hard work, and I'll see you in the next video.